Dr. Ting, briefly, what is it about the company that makes it so special?
What we have done is to cause a paradigm shift in the whole treatment of high blood pressure. What we have invented, in fact, is a device that enables the patient and the doctor to know the real state of the disease by looking at blood pressure at 24 hours and also at a microscopic waveform. By doing that, we are actually able to provide unprecedented data, and we are able to provide what we call evidence-based medicine in both the treatment, diagnosis, and the monitoring of patients. The B Pro device is actually a device that captures the blood pressure without the person knowing it, compared to any other device in the world, where your blood pressure is either monitored using a cuff, which can be very difficult and painful, or the intra-arterial line, which is invasive. The B Pro actually is the only device in the world that captures your blood pressure without even you knowing it. And by doing that, we are able to capture it at a very natural level. And therefore, we can actually get a real state of affair in your body. Now, on top of that, the patterns that then is generated from the watch enables the doctor to actually look at the risk and the risk profile of your patient. And we are able to look at how likely a person is to get an end organ damage, for example, a stroke, a heart attack, or even renal or kidney disease. So what we have done basically is to provide an enabler for doctors to actually use this device in a very easy clinical setting, which means everybody, including you, everybody can use this device and then capture what you need to know, and the doctor can actually use this data to intervene, to treat, and to change the course of your disease. That's what's so special about our HealthSTATS.
What country best facilitates starting a technology company?
Well, in fact, the whole world is actually looking into this whole foray of going into very high technological advancement. And in fact, China is one country which many people may not look at it, because many years ago, China was never in this area, strong in this area. And last year, in fact, China became the top 5 in the world, overtaking Germany in filing for IP. India is another country which we should look at it more carefully, because it's one of the most progressive, advancing country in terms of IP filing. But I think locally in Singapore, we are also a country that actually is favorable to start a technological company. The main thing is really the ground. You plant the seed, but you must have good soil. You must be able to water it, you must be able to nurture it. So the nurturing process is actually the most important part, and which comes from both the private sector and the government. So I think looking at Asia, I feel that Asia should be the main driving force for the next coming decade.
What makes an innovator?
That's a very interesting question. I tell you, the first thing about an innovator is that he must be able to read the trend. Reading the trend is one of the most difficult things to do. Be able to read the trend and stay ahead, 3 steps ahead. So reading the trend of things and being able to see what that may come in the next 5-10 years, that's the first criteria. I think the second thing that we have to look at is how to internalize what you have developed or what you believe, or gospelize, we call it. Internalize your concept, your mission, and then after that you are able to transmit. I think the third most important thing about being an innovator is the never say die attitude. I think more than just never say die, it is really the attitude which I have gone through, which is against all odds, I will survive. You have to really tell yourself that at the beginning of what you are doing, people are going to laugh at you, people are going to go and oppose you, people are not going to say nice things about you, and it does not mean that you will fail. So to keep to your course and stay focused, even when everybody else is laughing at you, that is a very difficult thing to do. right? I think lastly, the next is really to know how to think out of the box, or rather, not even to think of the box. Meaning, an innovator is able to cross industry. We are able to take technology from one particular field and apply it on another field, looking at beyond what is in your rhyme and looking at what others have to offer, maybe even in other industry, and then applying it into your own industry. So I think these are the basic ingredients of what is innovator.
How does your company directly contribute to improving the state of the world?
Well, I think we have a very great impact on the state of the world. The very fact that we have been awarded the Technology Pioneer Award recognizes the fact that what we have done will have a very big impact on the millions of lives. Let me give an example. The problem with the high blood pressure is really the first thing of diagnosis. Half of the people who are supposed to be diagnosed with hypertension are not aware. Of those half that have been diagnosed, only half are being treated. And of those who are treated, half are well controlled. So what you're talking about is a 1/8 of the problem that we are facing. Now, with what we have done, with the watch and the B Pro, what we are able to do is to solve the problem, first of all, at the root, where we screen the patient, we are able to capture all the other half. That's the first thing. For those who are starting treatment, we are going to be able to titrate and correctly treat. There are many patients, in fact, who are not high blood pressure but diagnosed as one because of the lack of this technology or device, and they have been treated unnecessarily, which may result in stroke. So I think the impact is both on diagnosis, screening, treatment, monitoring, and finally the prevention of a catastrophic event like stroke and heart attack. The number one killer, other than cancer, in the world is actually heart disease and stroke. But the two, when you combine them, they are higher than cancer. And these two, the basic root is still high blood pressure. So I think the impact on the world is great because we are now looking at the disease from a different angle. We are going 3 steps ahead of the disease. We hold the bull by its horn, and we are going to be able to tackle it before it happens. You consider how much it is to cost a family or a nation just to treat one stroke patient. In Singapore, it costs us 67,000 Sing dollars to treat a stroke patient and the opportunity loss. Imagine that one case being prevented, what it is to a nation, to a family, to the world at large. You will see the impact from this angle.
What value do you hope to gain from being a technology pioneer?
I think the recognition of us at this world platform really help us to look at ourselves differently, first of all, and also to allow people locally, I'm talking about my own country, to look at us differently. And there is a saying very well known in the Bible that a prophet is never accepted in his own homeland. And that is actually quite true in my country. And I think sometimes it takes quite a lot of effort for us to go out first and make a name before we come back, to be seen that we are credible. I think the recognition by World Economic Forum put us in that state, that suddenly and locally and both internationally we are recognized that what we are doing is not only right, what we are doing is in fact important, and it has an impact and is pushing the edge of technology. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing about this award is that it opens up doors for us into new markets. I believe new markets that have not opened up because of barrier, because of resistance, will now look at us quite differently, I hope. And I think the third value that I would benefit from is probably the networking. Having networking with a group of people who are actually at the edge of technology in the world, when we are meeting in Davos, and the exchange that we have. I think this networking give us a very powerful synergism. We may be able to actually combine or even work with each other so that we can actually come up with even better technology and product. So I think when we look at the global village of technology, the platform of World Economic Forum actually give us a very unique opportunity for a small country like ourselves to actually have an opportunity to stand up there and tell the world we make a difference and we will make history. And what we want you to do is actually allow us to actually show this to you, that we can change the history. Thank you.